I'm all on board with a lot of the libertarian ideals of getting rid of government, shrinking government, having a limited government. At heart, I do respect libertarians, but I can't fully get on board with the idea of not having any safety nets. You know, I'm like, get rid of the Fed or audit the Fed, cut military budgets, cutting funding to USAID. I'm not against stuff like that. But my problem is you can't leave people out to the wolves. They need the basic building blocks of life still. And that's why I can't be a libertarian, ultimately. Things like housing need to be human rights. Healthcare needs to be given to every citizen. We need safe food and water. We need a healthy environment. We need environmental protections. And we need something like a UBI. You need the basics to make sure people can survive and have a shot. Charities aren't going to cut it. I love to support you. I support limited government, but not if it means leaving people out to the wolves, If you wanted to get rid of government mostly outside of those basic things, I'd mostly be for it, Again, as I said, I'd audit the Fed and cut funding to that. I'm more of a fan of state banks personally. Again, I want to support you, but you can't just throw people out to the wolves entirely. And that's my problem with libertarians. It's like I consider myself a mix of libertarian and leftist. I'm a limited government, person. But I at least understand that the basic building blocks of life are important. And it drives me nuts that libertarians and many people who want to limit government, which I'm totally for, by the way, they don't understand this. They'll rant about how, we need less gun control, but then they don't want to make sure that people have housing and health care. It's nuts. They don't want a UBI because it's, quote, wasteful spending. It's crazy. I'm all for getting rid of government, but we have to also make sure the basics are still met for citizens while we do that. So that's why I can't fully get on board 100% with libertarians and conservatives right now. Look at all these, for example, government workers are losing their jobs. Look at all these people who are losing government support right now with the Republicans. What are they going to do? How are they going to survive? It makes no sense. Sorry, there's dog hair on my hat. It makes no sense to leave these people out with nothing, and losing their job. There are people coming out saying, I'm not going to have health care now. I have kids, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my children now. I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford to pay rent next month. And it's just crazy. We can't be doing this. The basic building blocks of life need to be met. And no, charities are not going to cut it, libertarians and conservatives. You can't just rely on charities. Okay? I'm all for limiting government. Way more than most leftists, probably, actually, if I'm honest. But at least I know that the basic building blocks of life, like, again, healthcare and housing, everything I've already listed, I want to go through the whole list again, are needed for people to survive. It's just frustrating because I want to support you. I want to be on board, but then you go to these extremes.